Hello guys, I'm going to showcase you in this video how to create a custom sales analytical dashboard in a very simple manner, step by step, for your sales team that you can use and implement it right now. In this video, you're going to be able to see how to calculate the metrics, what formulas to use, how to create a leaderboard, how to create a CRM tables so you're able to see live data coming in and what happened at the end of each call, the charts so you're able to see the performance, the targets which you're going to be able to set custom to your goals and needs to see if you're performing or not, if you're hitting your targets. And of course, you're able to pick the specific closer, and the closers themselves are going to be able to see how much earnings they are earning, and you're going to be able to automatically calculate their commission payouts. As well, you're going to be able to see every single date time frame for all of these metrics. Now, why should you listen to me? Well, we build multiple custom sales analytical solutions and custom data infrastructures. Here are some of the examples that we built already. Now, one of our many custom sales analytical dashboard solutions that we built generated way over 7 million, right now way over $10 million in pure profit for the sales team and the organization in the first year. Currently, that has been way over 10 million and it hasn't been yet the full year. I've been responsible for driving way over 10 million in pure profit, cash collected with data and insights generated by our team or me myself specifically before I started Astella. We create multiple data analytical solutions, custom dashboards, solutions that are way more advanced from AI, machine learning, and so on that drive impact and business growth. I started my career as a sales rep, then I moved hierarchy to the engineering department. I've helped service-based businesses, tech, and so on. And of course, currently, our goal as a Stella is to help you utilize data to the fullest to generate more actionable insights and increase your growth, increase your profits, increase your retention, and decrease your churn. And this is a very simple solution that you can build right now and utilize it for your sales team exact moment. Of course, this is meant for smaller teams, sales teams, and it's just an example of how to build it. And you can build it right now and implement it at this. Majority of our solutions are more advanced, and majority of the companies would utilize more advanced stuff, but this is very useful so you're able to gain unified view and to answer questions like what happened, are we doing good or bad, are we on track, or even potentially why it happened. So what are the next steps that we're going to be building? Now the next step, I'm going to showcase you how to build a data source so the sales rep can enter the data after each call that you can use automatically after this call, after watching this video. I'm going to showcase you how to design. I'm going to showcase you what formulas you need to use and how to calculate all the metrics, the charts, how to create the charts, how to create the table, how to create features, the date picker sales drop down, how to create goal tracking. And at the end of the day, the dashboard should answer you all of these questions. What happened? Are we doing good or bad? Are we on track? What potentially gone wrong, or what happened, or why it happened? Now, this is what I'm going to dive into this video. So feel free to watch it. Right. And first step is to prepare the data source, right? Now, how to do that? The goal of data source is basically to, so the sales rep can enter the data and can track the progress of each call schedule they had. Now, how this is going to be structured? You're going to create a Google Sheet and you're going to create these columns: closer name, prospect, date of the meeting, lead source, outcome, cash collected, revenue, notes for the first call. Of course, you can create whatever you can for yourself, because it has to be customizable to your goals and needs. You're going to input here the names of the closers, the prospect's name. The closers are going to be inputting that, the date of the meeting, the lead source. This is preferable if you want to have it. The outcome, is it close won, close loss, disqualified, no show. These are the most common outcomes of the sales team. The cash collected, which means that how much they collected right now, and the whole total contract value of that package they sold, right? And of course, notes for the first call. Now, they only need to enter this information, and other information we're going to be calculating inside of the dashboard that we're going to just create right now. So how they should sales rep use this? Basically, after each call they should just enter the date of the meeting, the prospect's name, they enter their name, the lead source they came from, what was the outcome, was it closed won, lost, disqualified, no show. Of course, it was one, they entered the value amount of in amount of currency, either that's they collected around 6K, or they collect, and the total contract amount of that package they sold is 10K. And of course, the notes. And this is just a simple example, as I said at the beginning. Of course, important thing is to also know to create a SOPs which you can attach right here, so the sales rep know every time of how to use this, so they don't disrupt you or any other team member. Plus, they don't disrupt data analytical progress, because sometimes this can get hectic a little bit because it's on the larger scale. Now, the next step is to create a Looker. We're gonna be working inside of the Looker Studio, which is a BI tool, very simple BI tool, free version of how to create a simple dashboard report. Now, you're gonna Google it, Google Looker, and you're gonna automatically be presented in this case. You're gonna click blank record, and I'm already have my dashboard created, which we're gonna build. Right, this is gonna what we're gonna building today. Now, how this is gonna look is basically you're gonna click it and you're gonna have a blank view. I'm gonna click this again just to showcase you what type of view you're gonna have. You're gonna have this type of view. The first step is we're gonna create a layout. Like the first step is creating the data source that we already created, the layout. We need to present scorecards, middle and the bottom, right? Okay, so let's start. We're gonna have a blank view. For your case, if you want to change the colors, like you have it like mine, you're gonna click this and you're gonna click this and you can change the colors, right? You can pick whatever it is. I had my customized and that's basically it. Now you're gonna need to change the value, the layout. You're gonna go in here, the layout, you're gonna click customize and you're gonna enter the width of this number and height of 800. Make sure that that's specifically done. Now, the next step is to create the layout, right? Now, if we look carefully in my previous report that we are already going to be building right now, please import your logos. How to import your logos is you're going to go in here, image, upload from computer, and you're going to import the logos. That's basically it. Of course, make sure to then make the background transparent, right? This is not that big important, but user experience is very important, because in that specific manner, you're gonna be using the solution a lot, right? And if if it looks bad, if it's very hard to use, you're not gonna be using it at all, and and at the end of the day, then you're not gonna be data driven. Now, the first step is to create a scorecard. Okay, this is the first step that we need to create, right? Now, how you're gonna create this? You're gonna click add the chart. You're gonna click scorecards. This. Now I'm gonna also import it here. Just give me a second. I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna place it here. Now we have here scorecards. Now, as you can see here, we have here course schedule, live course. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, basically, right? And of course, you can do this however you want, but this is just how I do it. And you're gonna create this like this. We have scorecards, okay, and this is just a layout. We're just creating a layout for now, right? Scorecards 1, 2, 3, 6. We just need one more, 7, right? Basically, that's it. Now, how to make sure that they are all aligned? You can just click right click. You can distribute, and you can distribute horizontally. That means that they will have the same gaps. This is very important, so it's clear and the user experience is very clear. Now we're gonna create the chart, right? We're gonna create the chart. In the chart that we're gonna pick is gonna be this chart column and the specific chart. We're gonna just place it. We're just creating the layout for now, right? This, and then we're gonna place this basically here. We're gonna have some metrics here. We have 2 metrics here and 1 metric here, and of course we then gonna be placing the leaderboard, which is gonna be here, like this, and like this, right? Just do this. And this is our layout. Now, be careful. This is just a layout. So basically, why are we doing this? Just so we can gain the concept of how it will look. It doesn't need to look pretty. This is just a layout, so we know the concept of building it, right? Now, of course, the end solution is going to be looking 10 times more better. But now the next step is, now we have the layout. Now we're going to create. Now let's go, before we continue, I'm going to create this. I'm going to just go step by step. Now, the next step is calculate all the metrics, right? Now, the metrics that we calculate is, if you remember, at the start I said that the sales rep are going to be entering the data after each call, meaning that each row represents a call scheduled, right? That's correct. Now, if that is true, that means that what you're gonna do is, before that we need to also import the data. I almost forgot that. Now, you're probably asking, how did I forget that? A little bit stupid, but how to import the data? You're gonna click this, add the data. You're gonna click add Google Sheets. You're gonna enter the name of that Google Sheet, okay, the data source, which is sales rep tracking. You're gonna enter that specific worksheet, and you're gonna click add. And that's basically it. That's the only thing that you need to do. And everything is gonna be added inside of here, like it's in my specific example. Like if I go in here under the data, this is how it should look like. Of course, I have some more fields already calculated, which I'm gonna be calculating them right now. Now, the data is imported. We have the layout done. Let me just go. Yeah, we have the layout down. Data is imported. Now we can calculate all the metrics. Now, the metrics that we have calculated here in the top bar are the top priority metrics, meaning that the metrics that have to be are the biggest priority to track the goals, track progress, the typical metrics for the sales team, leader, CEO, that are the most important ones, right? Now, the first one is call scheduled. If you remembered, as I said in a few minutes ago, I said that call scheduled means basically that that's one row, because the data source is set up like this in this example, is that each row represents call scheduled because the sales rep are entering after each call. Now, how you're gonna do that? You're just gonna create. You're gonna see here under the data set, under the data source, a record count, and you're gonna just import this here like this. I can do this right now, and you're gonna rename it. And you're gonna call it call scheduled. Right, but like this, and that's basically it. You can also click here, pick the date, and pick the sparkline, the date. Right. Now you have, it should look like something close to this without the performance, right? How this should look like, let me just go in here. So you're able to see it. It should look like close to this. Like this, of course, it should say call scheduled. Here it will say date of the meeting, and here said date of this. It should look something like this, and of course it will say here call scheduled, like this. Now, you're gonna do this, and this is the first KPI already created. For the live calls, now we need to calculate how the live calls are gonna be. Now, what does that mean, the live calls? Live calls, if we go back in the data source, that means that every call that is basically the outcome is not no-show. Now we need to calculate this. How we're gonna calculate this is basically we're gonna click here, add a field, add a calculated field. You're gonna write here live call, like the name of the metric, and you're gonna enter here the formula. Now, what's the formula? I have it already calculated. Live calls, and this is the formula. You can just copy it. Make sure this is the outcome, and this is the exact outcome that has to be here. You can just copy it. Pardon. You can just copy it and go in here and literally just place it in here, right? And you're gonna do this for every single outcome that means that is basically a live call. Okay, everything just not no show, because no show cannot be a live call, right? You're gonna click save. It's gonna say here save, and after that you're gonna click finished. If it doesn't appear, you'll need to redo it again, but it should appear. The next one is the show rate, right? Now, of course, when you calculate it, place the live calls in here, and that's basically it. Now, how to do that, just so I don't need to do it every single time, you can just do it yourself, like this. Boom, live calls, right? And of course, Sparkline, enable Sparkline date of the meeting, and like this, right? Now I'm gonna go and continue to calculate the other metrics. Show rate, how to calculate the show rate is, now we need to calculate first, we already have calculated the live calls, meaning everybody that showed up. Now you're gonna click here, you're gonna click like this, and you're gonna click add calculated field, right? Once you click calculate field, you're gonna enter here the name show rate, and you're gonna enter this formula. Okay, sum live calls, how many live calls divided by sum call scheduled, aka record count, if you remember. And that's basically it. You're gonna click, before that, you're gonna click here, you're gonna click numeric, You're gonna click percent and you're gonna click apply. And that's basically it. If it shows red, just ignore it. This is all good. And what you should show you something like this. Let me just go back on my working template. Let me show you like how it should look like. Pardon, this. Show rate, and like this. Live calls. And of course, divided by record count. And of course, make it percentage because it's a rate. Boom, 80%, perfect. And that's how it should look like. Of course, enable the spark line, and that's basically it. Now the next one that we need to calculate it is close one. You don't need to calculate that. You're just gonna go create a new field, add calculate field. You're gonna enter close one, make it the name of the metric, and you're gonna go in here, already have it calculated, and you're gonna place this formula in calculate field. Let me just find it. It should say one close rate. Here, close one count, and enter this formula. If outcome equals close one, it counts one. You're gonna go in here, save it, and click finished. Once that is done, you're gonna go in here and just place the number in here. Like how to do that, like this. Enable the spark line, and that's basically it. Right, of course, change the name of, you already know how to change it if you calculate it correctly. So whenever I talk about the formulas, you can just screenshot it, and so you know and how to remember, so you can remember the formula and just can continue. The close rate, how the close rate is calculated. Now, if you correctly calculated the close one, you can just go in here, add calculate field. Pardon, you need to go in here and calculate. I mistakenly did a little bit differently. You can go here, add calculate field, right here closed rate, and you're gonna input again this formula, sum close one count, the one that you just created here, divided by some live calls. Right? You're gonna click save, and you're gonna click finished. Right? Once you do that, you're gonna import it in here. And of course, you're gonna click here, change to the percentage. You're gonna implement the spark line, and that's basically it. Now, if we go in here to do it right now, how this looks like, close rate, implement the spark line, implement the percent, and that's basically it, like this. Now, you're gonna click here, and I have here a little bit nicer build, but it doesn't really matter how you're gonna build it. Gonna be building it yourself. You're gonna just click here, cash collected. Right? You're gonna click the. You're gonna input the cash collected. Basically, we already have cash collected. You're gonna just click here and place it in. Sparkline, enable it, and of course, you're gonna do the same for the revenue. Right? Now, make sure that the data type is in the currency. You're just gonna go in here and pick US dollar or whatever currency you are in, right? Now, I had a little bit nicer built in here, but how to do that? Basically, what I just done is, let's say I'm just gonna do it very quickly so you understand how it's built. I'm gonna enable this like this. I'm gonna do this for the revenue as well, like this. And I basically just like done it like this, and I enabled here to make it transparent. Transparent, basically everything transparent. And I placed also the line just for sake of visually purposes, because UX is very important when working with dashboards, right? And I just did this. And I changed, of course, the color of the line, which is not that important, as I said it again, but I like to have it visually appealing. This, and I enabled here the spark line. This looks like this. Of course, you can change the color in spark line like to here, like this, fill and make it smooth. And of course, change it the data type to the currency, okay, US dollar, and of course this one same as well, currency US dollar, right? Of course, make sure if the number is too big, what you can do, you can go in here and display and make it number, okay, rounded by 0. Same here, display format number rounded by 0, and that's basically exactly the same how I build it in the above example. And the only difference here also that I made is make it rounded to around 5, like this, and basically it's literally the same. And also enable the border to have it like this. Boom, exactly the same. Now that's basically done. The for top scorecard is already finished. It took a little bit long, but what I'm gonna do in here, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna copy it. Boom. So we are working like continuously, right? Now, you're probably wondering, okay, what about the size or something like this? Just make sure that every single one of them looks the same, right? Okay, the width and so on. How you can do that? You can literally just right click it, copy it, and click this and paste style only. And literally this will do the exact same criteria to every single one, right? And you can do that. If you want to distribute and make everybody aligned, you can just select every single one of them. Like I'm just gonna do this 3, and let's say you want to have the same gaps in between, you can just click here, distribute, and distribute horizontally. You can also double click here and make it aligning at the bottom. Okay, let's say you want to have it vertical at the bottom, boom, and everybody's gonna be aligned, and it's gonna look very nice, much more nicer, right? And that's how you do it. Now the next step, let me just move this out of the way, so because the video is getting a little bit longer than I expected, but nevertheless. Now once that is done, the next thing, of course, as you can see here, we have some targets. Now you're probably wondering, how did you set the targets? When you're going to be explaining those targets, what do they mean, and so on, right? Now the targets, how you're going to set them is going to go in here. You're going to click the comparison. You're going to double click on this, and you're going to set the targets. Okay, how many close casuals do we need? Okay, target value is 40, or let's say 30 in this case, and we have 0 versus target. Let's say I put 40. That means that we are 10 off. I mean, we need to 10 more to hit our target. Let's say here, same example, I did this value, and I set the target to 20, and our sales goals in this example is a little bit weird, but as I said, this is just a test data. We have overreached our goal by 10, meaning this is good performing. Basically, this answers our questions: are we doing good or bad? Are we on track? How bad or how good are we doing, right? If we want to present here the whole, if our show rate is working, I'm gonna go into my real example so I can showcase you guys live. Let's say here, our target value is 85%, right? Right, as you can see here. And of course, our current show rate is 80%. Now we are 5% off, as you can see here, meaning that we are 5% off and we need to hit 5%. So how to do that? Basically, just go here, click value, target. Whenever you're working with the percentages, like in here, this example, you need to put it in this type of format. And you deselect show progress, go in the style, pick correct colors that you want to pick, compact numbers, show absolute change. Click that, and of course, in the comparison label, write this verse target, which is basically this text, right? Which is gonna be basically provide you more context to it. And you can do this for every single one of them. Same for cash collected, for revenue. Every single one of them is the same thing. I'm not gonna explain for every single one of them, because basically you just input the what is your target. You deselect that. You change the colors if you want to change it. You go in here, select show absolute change, and you write your comparison label versus VC target. And you do that for basically every single one of them, right? Now, we are at the middle of the stage. Now, we have our metrics basically calculated to a degree. Now, okay, now the second thing that we need to do is create a chart. Okay, how do we create a chart? We have our chart created with column and line chart. We need our cash collected. We're gonna input the cash collected. I'm gonna do this, and we're gonna input the revenue as well. Boom. We already inputted our revenue. We're gonna click here of what's our dimension, which is basically the x-axis, which is gonna be the date. Now, we also want to showcase it monthly basis because it's more clear. How we do that? We click this, we click the display, we click the data type, and we click it month. Boom. Now we have it monthly, right? And you're probably wondering, well, it's not showing correctly though, because it's not in the descending format. Well, you can just click here. Year, month. And that's basically it. It's gonna showcase you also the year and in a correct manner, right? Also, you can click here whatever format you want to see it, and that's how you exactly do it, right? You can also, and once that is done, make sure to change it basically everywhere. In the under the dimension, it should say year, month, okay, the settings that you just set, right? And of course, you're probably wondering, well, it's not showing in the correct order. If you want to sort it, you can just go in here, make it ascending, and of course, now you have it in the correct order. As you have it already, date of the meeting date, and you have it ascending, and that's basically how it's done, right? And we have that already already finished. Now you can change here the, in our example, we want to have, we want to look at it a little bit more in nicer way. How to do that is we're gonna make show data labels. No, not that. Show points, show data labels, right? Line. You can change the colors however you decide to have it. You make it smooth so it looks nicer. I'm gonna change the colors to the exact how it should be, right? I'm gonna make here it show pink, and I'm gonna remove any grid, right? Well, I'm gonna remove the grid because it just doesn't look appealing, at least in my case, right? Transparent, and that's basically it. And now it looks basically the same however we have it in here. Of course, play yourself with the formats, but basically to a degree it's already finished, right? Now the next thing that we need to calculate, now we have basically the scorecards are finished, and we have here the scorecards and the chart as well finished. So as I said, we have scorecards finished, we have certain metrics calculated, we have our goals achieved, okay, our goals set that we want to achieve. We have our chart, and now of course I'm not gonna do it in this video, but just so you remember, make sure you're developing this to your goals, to your custom goals, needs, and priorities. But of course, that's another video. That's a data strategy video. Now, to continue, you're gonna just make sure to have everything aligned. Make sure to everything looks already nicely. At every corner, that there is no space between. That there is the space between each scorecard or element is the same. Make sure it's visually appealing, because that's very important in many solutions that just don't have it. Either they have correct metrics and insights and they provide value, but they don't have a visually appealing solution, or they have a very visually appealing solution but they don't provide any value. So make sure you have both. Now we have this. Now we need to calculate what else. We need to calculate PIF rate, PIFs, and commission. Now, what is PIF rate? PIF rate is out of every closed one deal, aka cash collected and revenue, how many of them are actually paid in full, right? Now, this is just an example that we see quite a few times where we worked. Of course, you don't need this specific metric, but in this case, I decided to put it in. PIF rate is basically just to see out of every sales call that you take, how many of them actually pay in full and how many of them actually don't pay in full, right? In our case, 71% of meetings, okay, deals that we do pay in full, which is very good, of course. Now, of course, I didn't set here any goals or targets, but if you want to set it, you can set it, of course. PIF rate, how to calculate, you're gonna go in here. As I said already, you're gonna click add calculate field, click here PIF count, and you're gonna input this correct formula. If revenue equals cash collected, it counts 1, and that's basically it. You're gonna save it down below in 0, and you're gonna click finished. Now here it should appear PIF count, and you're gonna place it in here. Make sure to place the PIF count in here, and you're gonna click this, add calculate field. You're gonna click here PIF count, PIF rate, and you're gonna calculate it. How you're gonna calculate it is basically you're gonna just calculate sum PIF count divided by sum close one count, meaning that out of how many, basically just tells us out of every close one deals, how many of them actually paid in full. You're gonna click the data type numeric and change it to percentage, and you're gonna click apply. Now for the other one, of course, make sure to change the title however you decide to. Here, you're just gonna click PIF count and you're gonna place it in here. And that's basically it. Of course, change the name. PIFs, I have it like this. And that's basically it. Okay, now we came back to the commissions. Now, how are you gonna calculate the commissions? Now, commissions are calculated very easily. Now, you're just gonna click basically, you're gonna input the scorecard, and I'm gonna show you in the live example of how to do this. There's few ways to do this, but in this case, I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna delete this so it doesn't disrupt our process. You're gonna click again, add a field, add calculate field, write the commission, right? I already have it written. You're gonna click, now you're gonna place this formula in. Now, it really depends on what specific commission rate it is, right? Now, and of course, on what type of, how your commission structure comp is structured. Now, in our case, I have the commission to be 15% of every cash collected, right? And you just input this formula. If you have it based on the revenue, you just change this to revenue. If you have different commission rate, just change this number, right? You're gonna click save, and you're gonna click finished. That's basically it. And then you're gonna go in here, input it in the scorecard, commission, change it to the currency, like US dollars, change the display formats to showcase you basically zero rounded, okay, you don't have so many numbers in it, and that's basically it. You don't need to put sparkline, that's up to your decision. In our case, it doesn't really look visually appealing if we do that, right? Now I'm gonna do that. Now we have, where are we at right now? We already have these three metrics, another calculated, which provides even more context to it. I'm just gonna copy each one of them, so I don't need to redo single one of them, right? And I'm gonna place them in here. Boom. Like this. Boom, we have now, basically we're very close to end. Now the next step, we need to create a leaderboard, right? We need to create a leaderboard. Now, how do we create a leaderboard? You just place, you have already your table. Make sure to pick the correct table in the Google Looker. Now, you're wondering what table you need to pick. Make sure, please pick table with a heat map. You're gonna now input all of, now this is very simple to do. You're gonna go in here, and you're gonna just literally just place, here you're gonna pick the date of the meeting. In the dimension, you're gonna pick closer, the name of that specific sales rep. And here under the metric, you're gonna just click every single thing that we already calculated. You're gonna pick here the calls, which is the record count, if you remember, okay, call scheduled. I have here mentioned as calls just because we have it so many metrics in here, so it doesn't get cluttered. You can just literally do this. Live calls, we have it already calculated. Show rate. Now, show rate, you're probably wondering, well, we don't really have, if you calculate show rate here, you can just literally just place it in here, and literally do this for every single one of them. We already have calculated in under this section, and you can just move it in here. Of course, make sure the columns are seen and formatted correctly, so literally the titles can be readable and everything. Now, how to set this heat map? You're gonna just go under the style, and of course, before that, make sure to click table body wrap text, right? And of course, do that same for the headers, wrap text table headers, so it's visually appealing. Now, how to do the heat maps? Literally, you have here every single column. As you can see here, metrics, metric one. Okay, this is the first table. As you can see here, it's disabled for the first 5 columns, and you can just set here the color of the heat map, and of course set the heat map here. It's automatically already set, and that's how it's gonna showcase you what's the top performing and so on. Now, you should have this already done and completed. Now, I'm gonna also copy these 2 tables already. Boom, I'm gonna switch this. Now, just so you understand how to do this very quickly, I'm gonna do this. We have here live calls. Let's say, no, sure, let me just go. And basically everything that we already calculated in here, you just input it. Let's say record count to this. Literally cash collected. Of course, don't make it cluttered and so on. But this is just literally the exact example of how you do it. And so on. And that's how you do it. Literally just inputs every single thing. Of course, you will need to change the date type, the currency, and the correct date type. Of course, if you need to round some stuff, you're gonna round it as well, right? And every single thing that we already calculated is in here, right? And that's, you just input it, and that's basically done. Now I'm gonna click with delete this. So just I can make it literally similar as the one that we have built above, like this. And in this table, you're gonna just copy this table, duplicate it, and the only change that you're gonna do is you're gonna go click on this table. You're gonna probably see heat maps and so on. It's gonna be looking a bit weird, but I can literally just do it here, so you guys can see it in exact format. Now, if sometimes duplication doesn't work, you can just click these 3 dots above. It already did it for me. And you can just, okay, I'm just gonna drag this here. I'm gonna make it larger, like this. Now I already made it larger. Now, how to do the same example? I'm gonna give you the purpose of why is that important. You're gonna literally go in here. You're gonna change it to the normal table. And now what you're gonna do, you're just gonna enter the existing rows from the data source. We're gonna delete all of these rows that we already have, because these are, majority of them are calculated, right? And we're gonna enter the already rows that we have. Now, of course, commission is calculated. You're just gonna enter them in the dimension type, under the dimension section, right? Like this. Outcome, because we want to see the outcome as well, right? Looker sometimes is a bit slow, that's why I don't really prefer it, but for the sake of video, we are very close to the ending. Of course, outcome. Let me just do this. The date of the meeting, so we know when it happened. PIF count, just so we understand that if it was a PIF or not. But you really don't need to do that, to be honest. And of course, one of the biggest things to important is for the sales manager is to see the notes. Notes like this. And of course, here example, I'm gonna also input the lead source. Basically all the existing columns that are inside of the data source. Of course, make this visually appealing. As I said, again, this is very important. Like this. And that's how you exactly do it, right? Now you're probably also asking, well, I don't see here in the specific, it doesn't show me the currency in the revenue and commission. Every time you enter the revenue, any type of number from the like this, you need to change into correct formats. Like I'm gonna show you how to do this. Well, commission is already, because it's calculated, but let's say in cash collected, because it's not calculated from the data source, currency, and just change it to the correct currency. And it's going to change you, as you can see here, cash collected. Of course, you can also make it rounded, make it 0 rounds, make it basically it's not going to be rounded, and that's basically it. And literally, that's basically we're already at the finish line of how to build a custom sales analytical solution for your sales team. As you can see here, it took us less than an hour how to build it. And let's go to back to the existing one. Now, there's two things missing. They are missing, of course, the features. Now, features are as a date picker and as a close for the date picker, and of course the feature for selecting a specific closer, aka sales rep. How to do that? You're gonna go here, control, click here the drop down list. I'm gonna do it now for the closer. Right now, I'm gonna input the closer name in the control field. I'm just gonna do this, and I'm gonna input it under the metric as well. You can test it, click on it, see it, it works. I'm gonna also make it visually appealing. I'm gonna make it rounded to the 5. I'm gonna make this rounded as well, this. As you can see here, it works. Now, we're also gonna do this for the date picker. How to create a date picker? Just go in here, date range control, place it. Boom, make it visually appealing. Of course, you can do however you decide. I'm gonna make it visually appealing, so it's literally the same as our existing solution above. And this basically it. Of course, make it nicer, make everything aligned. Let's say in this example, how we can make it nicer, let's say, or how can we make it aligned? Let's say I'm gonna align this vertically to the bottom, so everybody is aligned. And I'm gonna click it then again. I'm gonna yeah, that's basically if you have only 2 elements, you cannot distribute it. And that's basically it. That's how it works. We have it date pickers. Of course, in my existing solution above, it's more precisely done because everything is aligned correctly, right? As you can see here, the date picker works. And of course, now if I go back to the existing solution that is already built, because now, as you can see here, I'll of course make everything aligned. And of course, if I click on this, you can also test it yourself. If you click on this and if you click specific closer, you can also search for it if you decide to. Let's say if I click this only, it's going to show me the data only for Mike, right? Boom, only for Mike. And that's basically it. So if you're still watching this video, to understand how to use this is you can just close this. I'm going to go in here. So I'm going to explain the purposes. Now here you can change the closers like this. Here you can change a specific date, right? You can change a specific date for whatever time frame you want to see, from October, whatever it is, whatever you want to decide to see, right? Last year and so on. Here you have your scorecards, the top priority metrics, the targets that you set, like what's the target that you need to hit or how much you need to left. Let's say in this example, we already hit our targets and we are 10 above our threshold. Here we need to hit 5%. So we hit our show rate, so we are 5% down, and so on. We have here cash collected, aka the cash collected is the red line, aka pink, and the revenue is the columns. And as we are able to see it here as well. PIF rate out of how many closed won deals actually paid in full, and commission generated overall for the sales team. Here we are able to see the top performance of our sales team, who is on the top. If we click, let's say if we want to see who generated the most revenue, we can click on it. And of course, automatically we're going to see the arrow, and it's going to showcase you 25,000 generated for Dan. If we want to see who is the least top performer, who is at the bottom, click again. We see arrow above, and we see, okay, he just generated around 6K. Maybe he knew. Maybe we need to help him or give him some more training. Here we are able to see the end result out of each call that they've taken. That's booked on their calendar. When the date of the meeting it was, from lead source that it was, the outcome, was it disqualified, close one, what happened, was it PIF if it was close one, how much cash did they collect, how much revenue did they collect, how much commission did they got from that specific close one deal, and of course their notes, right? And that's how you do it. And that's basically the goal of this video. If you want to receive this exact template already made for your, and you can just use it automatically without needing to build, comment on this video you want to have this template, and I'm gonna send it out to you under the comment. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and that's basically it.